Hey guys, this is part two to Who is K.Milli Da God. So, when I was 5 years old, I was being abused by a neighbor. Um, I won't go into detail about that, but what I will say is, in that situation, I found myself in a deep depression where I just did not like who I was. I didn't love myself. I did not see the point of me being on this earth to live. Like, I was going through a lot of emotions. Um, but the people I had around me, my family, they helped support me and they helped me get to a point where I wanted to value my life. Um, if anybody knows me, everybody knows that my family is the most important thing to me. I love them with all my heart. I would do anything and everything for them. In that situation, I felt like I had to protect my family because my abuser told me that they will harm my family if I said anything. And so I took it and took it and took it till I can't take it no more. And when I had said something, it it was just terrible repercussions for it. So so with that being said, there was a time where I was going to counseling and trying to figure out how I can get out the situation I was in. And the abuse got so bad that I had told him I confided in my counselor to get help, and children's services got involved. Well, when I went to children's services, I told them my story. I told them what happened to me, and they looked at me and said that they couldn't help me, that they felt I was lying, and that I shouldn't be lying on somebody like that. And the reason that children's services said I was lying is because of a situation that happened earlier in that time frame. Um, I got to a point where I was really tired of hiding what was happening to me. And I wanted to tell my mom. I built up the courage to tell my mom. And I started to tell my mom. But in the midst of me telling my mom, I got afraid. I got scared. Because I could hear my abuser's voice telling me that they will harm my family. And I didn't want anybody to get hurt, especially my mom. So, at last minute, I changed my story. After this situation happened, I felt so alone. And I felt like if children's services couldn't help me, that nobody could help me. And so I tried to kill myself. I was at school and we were in line to go to our next class. And I went up to the third level and I was trying to jump 3 stories down. My teacher caught me and she took me to the principal's office and Basically, I was told that I needed to get counseling for whatever I was going through, and that I could not return back to school until I got the counseling I needed. That day saved my life. And I'm grateful to this day for that teacher. So, after I left school and began my counseling, I learned that I needed to speak up for myself. I needed to have a voice. And not only have a voice, when I say something, stand behind it. So when I say stop, I had to let it be known that I mean stop. And I got this strength out of nowhere. Like, this strength in me was like so real, and it felt so good that I did not have to feel like I had to let somebody run all over me. I didn't have to feel like I had to let somebody treat me less than what I was worth. It felt amazing. It felt awesome. So then, after I built this courage up, I had to face my demons. I had to look my abuser in the eye and said enough was enough. That day I did not care whether I end up in prison or if I died. At least if I ever end up going to prison, that person would never ever be out here hurting anybody else. And if I died, at least I was able to stick up for myself in a fight. A lot of people don't understand in that moment that I was in when I was ready to defend myself. Nothing mattered. I was fighting for my life. I was fighting for my freedom. I was fighting for my happiness. I was fighting for my self-love. So on the outside looking in, it just looked like I had a lot of rage. It wasn't rage. It was me fighting for my freedom. And that day was the last day that I was being abused. After I said enough was enough, it was done. No more. But I had to deal with the after effect of everything. I had to learn how to cope with being abused for so many years and how to be out in the general public and how to not feel like everybody has a personal agenda against me. I had to find a way for me to be able to give people the benefit of the doubt. Because after that whole situation, I didn't want new friends. I didn't want to meet new people. If I didn't know anybody, I didn't want to talk to them. I stayed to myself. My mom and my grandmother tried to get me to go to different summer camps and stuff. But in those summer camps, I was by myself. I didn't want to be with nobody. So yeah. Later on, I was known as D'Angelo with the anger issue. D'Angelo used to go to anger management. Why is D'Angelo so angry? It wasn't that I was angry. It was I vowed to myself after that whole situation that I would never let anybody ever, ever make me feel like I'm less than. Give anybody the feeling that they can hurt me like I've been hurt in the past. That I would never let that happen ever again. So when I feel like somebody even attempted to do that, I was going to war. So I had to fight to get out that situation, and I had to fight to stay out that situation. And that's what that was. So in 2012, me and my cousin and my uncle made a song. And that's when I started taking music seriously. Little did they know that that inspired me. That made me feel like I was able to be free and free myself from the rage I felt inside, from all of the things I felt. I could put it in the song and not have to worry about going to jail, worry about getting in a fight. I was able to be free. I was able to be free. So that's why when you listen to my older songs, you hear so much rage and anger and hurt. It's because I was getting all that stuff that I embodied in me for all those years out. And it felt fucking fantastic. Fucking fantastic. After going through what I went through, and after I did the whole process of healing, I wanted my cousin Samaj to be better than I was. Samaj is my cousin, but he's like her brother to me. Just because when we did things, we did it together. And when he was younger, he looked up to me. Even going through the situation I was going through, he still looked up to me. And I don't ever, still don't want him to ever feel the pain that I went through. Because that shit was not easy. And there is a lot of scars that I have dealt with and I have to deal with. So I just want my cousin to be at his best. So I made a vow, like, yo, I made sure I have those moments where I tell my cousin, like, yo, want to see you do this. I want to see you do that. I ain't trying to be like I know it all. I just want my cousin to be better than me. That's all. That's all. So going back to the music. So after I did that record with my cousin and my uncle, I started to do music by myself. And I partnered up with Google to exclusively drop my music. And that was so going so good. Well, with that comes a lot of people telling me I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it in this industry. That I wasn't able to be the artist that I wanted to be. So that gave me a drive to do everything that they said I couldn't do, and then some. So throughout the years when I was in school, I was doing SoundCloud, and I was doing Google and YouTube. Well, right before I graduated that year, I was able to be on every platform that they said I couldn't be on. I was able to reach a different level of artistry. The platform grew. And so I remember one time they told me, "Oh, you would never be on Vivo." Simply because that was, at the time, Vivo was the hardest thing to be on. And I got my music on Vivo. So that was a big flex for me. So then I said, you know what? I don't want to go further. I want to make it on Pandora. That took a couple motherfucking years to do. Pandora ain't what it is right now. Like, I made it on Pandora when they was very selective. Like, selective as fuck. But letting anybody on their platform. And I remember one time, I was coming home from work. And I listened to Pandora. Something like, type your name in real quick. See if you pop up. So, type my name in. And I was on Pandora. I was so happy. I ran home. And I told my mom, like, yo, Ma, look, I'm on Pandora. She was like, I'm excited for you, baby. Keep going. Go harder, because you doing it. So, I kept going harder, and I kept doing it. And then, my first royalty check came. All right, before my royalty check came, I was going through a lot of things in this music industry. I just felt like all these people was reaching out to me, trying to work with me, trying to be my manager, trying to sign me and all this stuff. It's like, cool. But then, all that shit went downhill. It's like that shit wasn't meant to be. I just kept feeling like I kept hitting a dead end. And I just wanted to retire. Like, I was done. I didn't want to do it no more. My first royalty check came. And I was like, I can't quit. I still got some more music in me. I can't quit. So then I kept going and kept going and kept going. And I signed a deal with Verge Records. And everything that was promising me, everything that it was going to give me was amazing. And then I got out of my deal with Verge Records because Big Roots wanted to work with me. And I must say, it's a cool label to be a part of. I looked at the roster and they had Lyrica Anderson, Marcus Black, like people you see on TV every day, and people that actually is very talented on a roster, like people that's well known in Hollywood. I seen they had on the roster, so I'm like, I want to be part of that. So I submitted my information. They looked at it. They got back to me, and I signed to be rude. um, the whole process is different for me. Like submitting my music, dropping music, and having to wait weeks and weeks and weeks for my music to drop. I can't drop my music like automatically no more like I used to. But I do got a lot of stuff in the vault that I do want to drop. Um, but this is a different season, different change. So everything, I just want my own in 2021. Like, I'm done with being under somebody. So I think that I'm going to fulfill these contractual obligations that I'm in. And while I'm in the process of doing that, I'm going to make sure that my platform that I'm building is solid, meaning that I'm about to be my own distributor, be my own label, be my own artist, be my own manager in my publishing company. I am not gonna let somebody take from me no more. So that's that.